Indian Himalayas lies the Spiti Valley, surrounded by rugged mountains. Only a few specialized animals and plants can survive up here. The most secretive and least understood of all the great cats, the snow leopard is top predator. Over the next 4 years, veteran Indian filmmakers Naresh and Rajesh Bedi will brave this hostile environment, hoping to reveal the true nature of this almost mythical animal. They are soon chasing shadows. The Spiti Valley is set in the remote mountains of the Indian state of Himachal Pradesh. The name Spiti means the middle land, the land between Tibet and the Indian Himalayas. The Spiti River snakes along the flat bed of its broad valley. The surrounding landscape is a cold, high-altitude desert with sparse vegetation. A tough place to live for wildlife, people. The Bhutia people have inhabited these valleys for centuries, alongside a remarkably rich flora and fauna. The blue sheep, or bharal, has a blue-grey sheen to its brownish coat and is in fact a sheep-like goat. Here too lives the Himalayan Ibex, more obviously a goat. But the most enigmatic of the wild inhabitants of Spiti is the seldom seen snow leopard. Locally known as Shan, they have long been hunted for their beautiful fur. Also known as the grey ghost of the mountains, they vanish into these great mountains at the least hint of danger. So thin on the ground and so elusive, they can be frustratingly hard to find, let alone film. Now in their mid-70s, the Bedi Brothers have returned to the mountains to fulfill their long-cherished dream to film the secret life of the snow leopard. They have chosen the remote village of Chicham as their base. At 4,100 meters, it is one of the highest permanently inhabited settlements in the world. Their first priority is to win local support and learn as much as they can about any snow leopards seen in the area. They meet village elders in the warm kitchen of Dorje Namgyal.
आपने भी कभी स्नो लेपर्ड देखा कभी?
स्नोबर्ड नहीं देखा जी।
आपने नहीं देखा?
नहीं देखा।
कभी एक्का दुक्का देखा होगा, 5 साल में एक बार देखा होगा जैसे। उस जंगल में वो गए, वो घोड़ा मर गए तो उस टाइम देखेगा नहीं, तो जंगल में कितने होगा नहीं होगा क्या देखेगा नहीं।
The villagers regard the snow leopard or Shan as a threat to their livelihoods.
सर्दी में तो क्या बड़ा-बड़ा जुम्मो भी मरते थे, या भी 4-5 साल का भी मरते थे।
साल में कितने बच्चे मार देता है आपके?
सिर्फ दो बच्चे जुम्मो को 2 बच्चे बचा, सारा मर गया।
The village elders give the Bedi brothers their wholehearted support. The lives of these people are steeped in the ancient traditions and teachings of Tibetan Buddhism. Dorje's family has invited the local devata to bless our mission to film the snow leopard. Every village has a devata, an oracle, who can foresee the future. He makes offerings to placate the village spirit and soon enters a trance.
확진이 다가가는데 학교바시 좀 바닥내기 마루등아 주내가나
अरे हम तो फिल्म के लिए आए हैं, वो फिल्म हमारा सक्सेसफुल होना चाहिए। क्यों क्यों देवता जी का आशीर्वाद होना चाहिए ना।
Every family has a shrine in their home. Gompo, a 46-year-old school teacher, has agreed to join the Bedi Brothers team.
The villagers are surprised by our enthusiasm to see a snow leopard. We soon discover that riding a yak without a saddle takes skill. We have to hold on tight to the yak's long hair.
To find a snow leopard is a real challenge. There may be as few as 200 left in the Indian Himalayas. Winter is a good time to look for them as they follow their prey down the mountains, leaving telltale bug marks in the snow. They don't have a permanent home, but continually roam the mountains. They could be anywhere. Solitary and wary, Shun is perfectly adapted to survive in this high-altitude mountain habitat at elevations between 3,000 and 5,200 meters. Its smoky gray and tan coat, marked with dark rosettes and spots, provides perfect camouflage against the rocky terrain until it moves. 150 meters deep, a gorge cuts through the mountains. Snow leopards often use the cliffs of the gorge as a highway. The snow has frozen, making the climb down into the gorge dangerous for the filmmakers. Breathless in the thin air, the brothers are feeling their age. Here, the cats can conceal themselves from their prey and find shelter in bad weather.
ये वाली रिज पे कभी स्नो लेपर्ड देखा?
वो जो टॉप वाला रिज है ना जी, वहाँ से गुजरता है। एक जो मिडल वाला है ना जी, मिडल वाला वहाँ से भी गुजरता है।
The team soon finds cat and a fresh scrape. Snow leopards scratch up the ground with their hind feet and urinate on the heap of soil to mark their territory. As the sun sinks behind the mountains, the temperature drops rapidly below freezing in icy winds. There is a 3-hour climb and a long, cold trek back to the village.
जो क्लिप दिख रहा है ना सर, वो से आता है जी, मैक्सिमम यहीं से हमने क्रॉसिंग देखा। यहाँ हाइट लगाएं।
The next day, the team helped Naresh set up a camera hide overlooking a path known to be used by Shun.
Now it is a matter of waiting patiently in sub-zero temperatures.
ठीक है सर, बेस्ट ऑफ लक सर।
Thank you. It is not easy sitting still and silent for hours on end with my hands and legs freezing. After a long, cold week in the hide, the weather clears and my luck turns. 3 bharal appear in the gorge below me. Then I realize that I am being watched. Perhaps as surprised as me, the snow leopard is trying to figure out what it has found. It cautiously edges back, its piercing gaze fixed on the hide.
As the sun climbs, a herd of blue sheep appear on the hill opposite. They are the favorite prey of snow leopards.
Much later, I was thrilled when another snow leopard appeared on the slope just below the hide. This one, a large male. The bharal are not alarmed with the deep gorge between them and the predator.
Gompo believes that this snow leopard is the dominant male. We name him Karma, the king. He has a broad face with a distinctive black patch on his forehead. He appears to be 6 or 7 years old. Karma waits patiently, hoping a bharal may come close enough for a surprise attack. The blue sheep move away, but Karma has not given up. Snow leopards are most active at dawn and dusk. The sun sets. It is time for Karma to hunt.
We soon realize that the hide is not a very good option for filming, as a snow leopard may only pass through the area once in a week, if at all. To improve our chances, Gompo sets up automatic camera traps.
Snow leopards patrol major ridge lines and scent mark certain rocks, often at the base of cliffs. For weeks, nothing. Then a few whiskers and some fur. A pair of shy snowcocks search for seeds. And a red fox picks up an interesting scent, but no clear view of the grey ghost.
But then, after a few months, Karma visits to leave his unique calling card by means of a well-aimed jet of urine. This is a dating site where these solitary cats post their profiles. A few weeks later, a female appears. She looks younger and has distinctive markings on her back. We name her Pema. A third snow leopard appears, another female. We name her Lamo, meaning the goddess. She rubs her face against the rock, leaving her scent. She may be the dominant female, perhaps 6 years old. Her scent may carry information about her sex and condition. Important news for a male seeking a mate.
The camera traps reveal that there may be only 3 or 4 adults in the area. Each individual has a unique pattern of rosettes and spots by which it can be identified. On the advice of the trackers, the team relocate to the high plateau, which is crossed by snow leopards on their way from one valley to another.
First, we have to descend 300 meters to the bottom of the gorge and then scramble up again. We walk for 2 hours, but for the steep climb, we have to ride yaks. Both the locals and their yaks are well adapted to the high altitudes. By noon, we reach the midway point. Rajesh and I are completely exhausted.
Yes, very tiring, exhausting, steep. And sitting on yak, your bottom gets absolutely tired, stiff. It's not a joke. Looking for snow leopard, and that too is not looking through your camera and getting something worthwhile makes your life bloody difficult. But that's the challenge, and that's why we are here.
It is late afternoon by the time the team reach a rock shelter, often used by local herders. It will be their base for the next fortnight. Dorji and Phunsuk quickly clear stones and level the ground. The tents are positioned to avoid the high winds blowing down the valley. With no fresh water, snow is melted. A hot cup of butter tea with barley flour soon restores the morale of the exhausted team. They discuss plans for the following day. The yaks are taken back to the village as the deep snow prevents them from grazing. A gorge separates the villages of Chicham and Kibber. The Kibber Wildlife Sanctuary was established in 1992 to help protect the snow leopard. It is ideal habitat for bharal and ibex.
We are relieved to see a herd of bharal. Snow leopards silently shadow them as they roam the mountains in search of the sparse vegetation. Chan is a master of camouflage. We know they are here somewhere. It is unnerving to realize they may be watching us right now.
The Bedi brothers rely on their local trackers to find snow leopards, an often dangerous task. They have been wandering these mountains from childhood, keeping watch on their family's livestock. The search continues day after day, but the team have no luck. The Bedi brothers are beginning to worry that they won't find Shan again. The team decide to keep watch on a herd of ibex. Perhaps the snow leopard will be keeping an eye on them too. It is mid-December and time for the Himalayan Ibex rut. Large bucks pursue any doe in estrus, but mating is the privilege of the dominant male in the group. He establishes his place at the top of the hierarchy based on his size and strength. By running down the slope and rearing up, a buck can use his weight to land a heavy blow. The dominant male is in no mood to relent. Fights between two bucks of equal size and weight are rare, but hard-fought and ultimately decisive. Exhausted by the long fight, the defeated buck cuts his losses and beats a hasty retreat. No sign of Shun, however. It is early February. Tracking is intensified as it is snow leopard mating season. Yak herders sometimes report sightings of Shun following their animals, but so far there is no news. It is amazing that these solitary cats can find partners in this vast landscape. Finally, a breakthrough. The team finds fresh pug marks of 2 snow leopards heading towards the gorge. Dorji and Phunsuk rush back to the camp with the good news.
हाँ भाई
झूले जी
झूले झूले कैसे
बस जी बढ़िया
लाया खबर उधर घूम फिर के आ गया
बनाया सर वहाँ हमारे को 2 के पग मार मिले जी
निशान था सर दोनों
2 के निशान थे जोड़ी बनाने का चांस लगता है जी आज का सीजन है ना जी
अच्छा
हाँ जी
आवाज आ रहा सर
है कैसे आवाज नाले में आवाज पूरा गूंज रहा था हम करके
अच्छा
ये सामने वाले खड में नीचे खड में
सर
अच्छा जल्दी जाना पड़ेगा जी
जल्दी
जल्दी
चलते प्यार करके
हाँ जी
The Bedi brothers hurry towards the gorge. After weeks of waiting, they are in for a surprise.
We cannot tell if the male has been attracted by the female's mating calls or is just passing through. To our surprise, Lamo emerges from the gorge, moving towards the new male. This is Karma's territory, and the trespassing male seems nervous. To avoid any confrontation, he moves away. His large paws, well covered in fur, act like natural snowshoes. Lamo continues to call, perhaps hoping to attract his attention. Unmoved by her calls, the unknown male continues on his way and is not seen again.
Recent genetic studies reveal that snow leopards are more closely related to tigers than to the common leopard. But unlike tigers, they cannot roar. Once again, the far-carrying, eerie calls of a female are heard in this almost silent wilderness. The team find Karma looking around anxiously. It is surprising to see Pema approaching, not Lamo, who's also in the area. Lured by Pema's calls, Karma responds and moves further along the gorge. Pema moves closer but seems wary. Karma finds Pema and both growl as they approach cautiously before a degree of mutual trust is established. Pema rolls on her side in submission and then backs off slowly. If Pema refused Karma now, it could lead to a serious fight. As she moves away, Karma follows. He won't let her escape now.
The next morning, we find Karma and Pema on the floor of the gorge.
For most of the year, adult snow leopards are solitary, carefully avoiding each other. Only the necessity of mating brings them together for few days. Karma, who is a good deal older than Pema, looks exhausted. Pema departs. She must be hungry, as during their time together, the pair won't have fed. A herd of ibex on the move catches Pema's attention. She knows the route they will take and prepares to ambush one at the foot of the cliff. There is hardly any scientific information available on the hunting behavior of snow leopards in the wild, as it is so rarely witnessed. The exceptional agility of snow leopards is key to their survival. With short, strong forelimbs with large paws and long hind limbs, they are well equipped for climbing, running, and leaping. The extraordinarily long tail acts as a counterweight, enabling them to maintain their balance.
It is electrifying to watch Pema's stealthy approach. She knows when to freeze, when to advance. The cold calculations of an instinctive killer. He needs to get within 30 meters to launch an attack. Her cover is blown. She has not been lucky this time. I am amazed to see her clinging to the vertical rock face. Such behavior may never have been filmed before. Pema is hungry and anxious to hunt. She tentatively climbs a narrow cleft in the rock. Every move is slow and deliberate. Noticing the predator, the ibex move away. Looking disheartened, she climbs down, as if in slow motion. Taking about 10 minutes to descend rocks she could easily have leapt down in seconds.
The team returns to Chicham, hoping hungry Pema makes a kill during the night. The setting sun tints cirrus clouds sculpted by strong winds. The Spiti Valley is freezing cold and dry for most of the year. Himalayan Ibex have a dense coat with an inner layer of down to insulate them against the icy wind as temperatures drop to minus 30 degrees Celsius.
The unexpected storm forces us back down to the village. It is a terrifying experience with gusts of 80 kilometers per hour and blinding snow. It is a great relief to arrive safely back at our lodgings after 2 harrowing hours.
Our team were happy to see heavy snowfall as the village is totally dependent on snowmelt for their water supply. The blizzard continues for the next 3 days. With more than 2 meters of snow, Cheecham is cut off from the rest of the world and the Bedi brothers are stranded. By March, snow on the lower slopes begins to melt, once again revealing the brown, arid landscape. Water from the melting snow and glaciers rushes down to meet the Spiti River, resulting in soil erosion on a colossal scale, creating remarkable stone and clay formations. Now that the snow has gone, the herds of ibex and bharal will have moved up the mountains. The Bedi brothers have returned after 4 months to renew their quest to film the cats they tracked in the winter. Gompo has arranged for 8 donkeys to transport the team's gear to the new camp at 4,300 meters in the rolling hills.
Climbing at high altitude is utterly exhausting. Rajesh and I wonder why we ever embarked on this mad quest at our age. It is a bit much for the over 70s.
The longer days, warmer weather, and snow melt of spring trigger dormant plants into growth and a riot of color. At this altitude, Insects must complete their life cycles during the short summer months. Shy, solitary and nocturnal, the Tibetan woolly hare inhabits grasslands and shrubby meadows. They are seldom seen during the day. It is the breeding season in the Spiti Valley. On a hilly slope, a snowcock has made a nest in a shallow depression. Its streaky plumage and ability to remain perfectly still protect it from the eyes of predators. It is hard to find snow leopards in summer, as they leave few traces on the vegetation or dry ground. Naresh begins his search with Darya, the senior tracker.
खड्डे हैं उधर ज्यादा है ना
वो पीछे तो जा नहीं सकते।
चलो आगे देखते हैं थोड़ा सा
For a week, there are no snow leopard sightings. But the team finds Cat only a few days old. Nearby, they discover the carcass of a young ibex on a steep cliff and one fresh pug mark.
ये इसका रेगुलर यानी कि क्रॉसिंग पॉइंट है सर। और ऊपर जो यहाँ पर देखिए आप ताज़ा बिल्कुल इसका सेंट मार्क है।
Gompo sets up a camera trap to find out which animals are in the area.
Our trackers take a position overlooking the snow leopard's trail. The area is extraordinarily quiet. We hear no birds or animal alarm calls to indicate the presence of shun.
It is summer, but the days are still cold. At this altitude, the intense ultraviolet light burns any exposed skin.
सब नाक जल गया क्या
नरेश का तो हाथ भी जल गया।
हाथ भी जल गया
तो अब कितना और इंतजार करना पड़ेगा
वो तो बोल नहीं सकते। अभी तो 10 दिन तो हो गया, अभी भी कुछ नहीं देखा देता। बोल नहीं सकते ना, मुश्किल ये है।
जंगल का काम ऐसे ही है ना।
कभी तो फटाफट मिल जाता है, कभी तो कुछ भी नहीं हुआ।
There's nothing more that the Bedi brothers can do, but be patient. Perhaps the camera traps will reveal something.
अरे ये तो कुछ नहीं इसमें तो।
मॉर्निंग का शॉट लगता है जी।
अरे इसको देखते हैं।
ये स्नोकॉक है जी। ये इनकी डस्टिंग की जगह लगती है जी, जहाँ ये नहीं रुका, नहीं चल दिया।
अच्छा सेम जगह है, स्नोकॉक यूज कर रहे हैं और ये यंग आइबेक्स यूज कर रहे हैं। स्मेल कर रहा है मेरे ख्याल, ये देखो स्नो लेपर्ड की।
सारे गीले हैं एकदम, शायद अब बारिश में है, खड़े रहे ये कहीं पर।
ये हिला दिया कैमरा, बिल्कुल
कैमरा हिल गया ये।
अरे वाह, देखा
ये बहुत अच्छा जी मार्किंग करते हुए।
लामो लगती है जो है डोमिनेंट फीमेल जो है। ये
बहुत खूबसूरत है जी, बढ़िया। स्मेल रब कर रही है अपने चेहरे पे,
या छोड़ रही है या रब करके अपने ऊपर लगा रही है।
दोनों ही बातें हो सकती हैं।
अरे ये देखो क्या शानदार है,
बहुत बढ़िया शॉट है जी ये, वाह।
बिल्कुल रिलैक्स है। अब इसमें देखो इसका जो पेट है कितना बड़ा हुआ है, एकदम एडवांस स्टेज ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी लगता है।
बल्जिंग पेट है, बहुत ब्यूटीफुल शॉट। हाँ जी, बच्चे देने वाली लगती है।
और टाइम भी यही है आजकल इनका, बच्चों का। अगर हमारी टीम फॉलो कर सके इसको, इसका डेन ढूंढ सके तो मज़ा आ जाएगा फिल्म में राजा।
मुश्किल काम है जी.
The presence of Lamo in the area and the discovery that she's pregnant is exciting news and boosts the morale of the team. Finding Lamo's den is going to be a challenging task in this vast and complex terrain of high-altitude meadows and forbidding cliffs. A natural den has never been recorded or studied in India. With his boundless enthusiasm, Gompo reaches a hazardous cliff ledge for a view into the deep gorge below. There is no sign of Lamo, but a group of ibex are settling down to rest for the day. Here, remarkably well camouflaged on this exposed rocky slope, they feel safe as they can easily spot any approaching predator. Careful scanning reveals Karma, sleeping in an abandoned rock shelter. He's resting on a pile of ibex droppings behind a low wall built to provide shelter for goats. If undisturbed, he may spend the whole day there, relaxing and digesting his meal. A circling lammergeier and waiting griffon vultures lead the team to the kill of a large male ibex. It must have weighed about 120 kilograms. Foxes are quick to claim the remains of the carcass and hurriedly grab whatever they can. Now that Karma has gone, the griffon vultures dare to land, but have to contend with the foxes. The daring fox is soon overwhelmed as more vultures land to brawl over the remains of the ibex. A juvenile lammergeier patiently waits his turn. He is after the bones. Besides keeping the numbers of large herbivores in check, snow leopards provide food for the many scavengers that clean up the leftovers. The hungry griffon vultures clean up the carcass in no time. A young lammergeier finds small bones to gulp down. An adult lammergeier is intent on feeding in peace. It may drop its bony prize from a height in order to break it into more easily swallowable fragments. The vultures depart in search of another meal. Billions of stars in the Milky Way galaxy are sensationally clear over the team's camp. And there is an encouraging lead in the search for Lamo. One of the camera traps has captured a shot of her at night. Her extended abdomen is clearly visible. She may be about to give birth. But the question is, where? She's probably on the lookout for a suitable den. The search for Lamo is intensified. The team check the cliffs along the Spiti River. It is a difficult terrain, but there are many natural caves which Lamo might use for a den. For most of the year, the village yaks are left to roam freely and graze the high pastures unattended. At home, In this treeless upland between 3 and 6,000 meters, yaks must travel great distances in search of better forage, quite unafraid of the heights. Young males spar to test their strength and determine their position in the hierarchy of the herd. There is nothing quite like a good dust bath. It also helps discourage parasites. To have any chance of finding a snow leopard, the team must also follow the herds of ibex and bharal up to their high mountain pastures. Some snow leopards shadow herds of village yaks during the calving season. It is summer now, and most of the cows have already given birth. Both mother and offspring bear colorful ear tags unique to their owner. Gompo's yak has given birth to a female calf, and he's concerned he may lose it to Shan. Several calves are killed every year, causing the villagers significant financial loss. Sure enough, Gompo finds Karma raking his claws on a grassy clump nearby. He follows him to a nala and discovers that Karma had pulled down a year-old calf early that morning. It is exciting news for the Bedi brothers. Camera hides are positioned in the evening and the team returns to camp.
The following day, we set off at 4 a.m. as we expect it will take 2 hours to reach the hide. But it takes much longer, and Karma is feeding when we arrive. He looks a little mystified. Our slow, quiet approach seems to reassure Karma, and yet he moves away. We are concerned that he might abandon his kill, but to our surprise, he settles down on a rocky cliff with a clear view of the carcass. The vultures and other scavengers will not dare to approach the carcass as long as Karma is there. Rajesh and I wait in our hides for almost 10 hours.
Climate change is driving herders and their livestock ever higher into the mountains, resulting in conflict with snow leopards. After the day's grazing, the animals are driven back to the village. As peace returns, Karma is back on his kill. An adult snow leopard, like Karma, needs to consume an ibex or bharal, or a domestic animal, every 10 to 15 days. His powerful jaws cut the ribs and smaller bones, a rich source of calcium and other vital minerals.
We feel lucky to capture a few brief, intimate moments of Karma at close range. He is well aware of our presence and does not feel threatened. As night falls, we leave him to feed in peace and make our way back to camp. It has been a long day, but very rewarding. Our first sighting of a snow leopard in 3 weeks.
Karma rests and feeds through the night. This 160 kilogram yak calf will last him for a few days. It is obvious that age is catching up with karma and he looks weak. How much longer can he survive like this? The Bedi brothers will continue to track the aging ruler of these mountains and find out how long he can hold on to his territory. Lamo must have given birth by now. Will Bedi brothers achieve their dream of filming young snow leopard cubs in India?